Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to this Aimless Wanderings vlog for Blobatron, which is the second Boom Goes the Dynamite story, so Dynamite Wave 1, Story 2, and this one sees the Doctor and Christy going to a theme park, to the original Blobbyland theme park. However, it turns out Mr. Blobby is a genetically mutated Blobatron. Sorry, there's a mini fly in this room. And he's been gaining power from absorbing the deaths of lots of people so he can take over and destroy the planet. And he's being helped by none other than Noel Edmonds. Not the real Noel Edmonds, but Aimless Wanderings version. Also, this story starts out with a pre-credit scene of three teenage boys basically being brutally murdered by the Blobatron. Well, it's trained, to be honest. So, yeah, it is a bit daft that they didn't jump over the barriers like the Doctor and Christy do later on, though. But, yeah, they die. And this is probably the last time we're going to get a pre-credits scene, and it is pretty much the most brutal one, but it's also the first one where we have characters that are essential, at least important, to the story. With Convolution and more of the Daleks' ones, we just got pre-title characters that were just there. They were just there to set up the start of the story and not really have much of an impact on the rest of the story. They were going to die either on air or off air. But with this one, there are some soldiers who have gone looking for them, in a way, and they're important to the story. Well, a little bit. I mean, they knocked the Doctor out and give him some information he doesn't know. But after the exposition, they're basically just there, and they're killed off air as well, I suppose. We don't really know, but let's just say they are. And yeah, that's about that. And the audio sees lots of the Doctor and Christy having to survive some death traps, and eventually confronting Noel Edmonds and Mr. Blobby, and then they have to stop Mr. Blobby. And Noel Edmonds accidentally gets inhaled by Mr. Blobby when he inhales the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, which is the third time the Doctor intends to use his sonic screwdriver to stop Mr. What's happening. Yeah, by this point it is a bit repetitive, the Doctor using this cheap gimmick get out of jail free card, so it's actually pretty funny when Mr. Blobby swallows it the third time round, so the Doctor can't actually stop Mr. Blobby with the Sonic. And it's also where Noel Edmonds meets his maker, I suppose. I mean, he's swallowed by Mr. Blobby, and then he gets it. Mr. Blobby's in the sense of the time vortex 2 explodes, although we don't really hear him explode. So, and I also have to mention that after the titles and before they reach Blobbyland, there is a lot of the Doctor and Christy in the TARDIS and Christy at her home. There is a lot centred on that. However, for story purposes, it makes sense, and it's really well executed. You could have had a mini story all about that, to be fair. I mean, look at Boredom with the Doctor. It's basically just them talking for about 6, 7, 8 minutes. It's not the entire 9 to 10 minute audio, because there's the pre-title stuff. But definitely the majority of the audio is the Doctor and Christy talking in the TARDIS. And so yeah, this is basically not dissimilar to that. It's one part of the story. Possibly a third, nearly, not quite. By the time they get to Blobbyland, a third has passed, but we're also taking in the pre-titles as well. So, overall, it's a really fun, and it's also very gruesome as well. In fact, this is probably the closest, if not only, audio I would give a 15 rating to. I know some would give it to Fondness and Creatures for some uses of strong language, but I think there's only a few uses of those in the story, so I think a 12 would be okay, but there's a lot of gory descriptions in this one, so a 15 is very likely. So this story could probably be a 15 Possibly. I mean, yeah, it might be now on the re-listing. It probably would be a 15 rated audio. I think this is the darkest Aimless Wanderings gets, and it's definitely the most gruesome. And last time we got a very gruesome death, or seemingly death at the start, as the Convolution. They're not only deaths at the start in these pre-credits, they're gruesome deaths, and I think after this story, things are going to be less violent and less gruesome in the Aimless Wanderings series overall. Next story is more centred on comedy. The one after doesn't really have any violence, but there's just a bit of strong language. And then the one after that is just talking. Slight bit of violence, but mostly explosion. And apart from fisticuffs, I think it's not that much violent but after that, besides explosions. So, overall, Blobatron is bloody amazing. It's so much fun, and a really great story, and very enjoyable. So I'm going to give Blobatron a 10 out of 10. It's really good, it's really enjoyable, and has a lot of great moments, even if some of them are a bit bloody and gory. So younger viewers, be aware. More, and the same with More of the Daleks, but even more so, and also Convolution of the Doctor Part 1, Side A. I think they're the most goriest ones. I don't think any of the others are as violent or gory. I mean, there's some scary and upsetting ones, maybe. Upsetting for younger viewers ones. But besides explosions and fisticuffs, these are the goriest three. Convolution Side A, More of the Daleks in this one. So that's it from Blobatron. Next time we'll be looking at The Last Laugh. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel.